August 6, 1945. Hiroshima vanishes in 16 seconds. Japanese High Command receives the reports and freezes. One city, one bomb, 70,000 dead instantly. They'd been warned about a special bomb, but dismissed it as American propaganda. Now their generals stare at reconnaissance photos showing nothing but ash where a city once stood. What they said in that room would change warfare forever. And their words reveal something terrifying about what they truly feared. The morning everything changed. August 6, 1945, 8:15 a.m. Hiroshima is bustling. People heading to work, kids walking to school, factories humming. Then the sky splits open. A single B-29 bomber flies overhead. Just one plane. The Japanese air raid sirens stay quiet. One bomber isn't worth the panic. But this bomber carries something the world has never seen. Something that weighs 9,000 pounds and has a nickname, Little Boy. At exactly 8:16 a.m., everything stops. A flash brighter than 1,000 suns. Then silence. Then a shockwave that flattens 4 square miles in seconds. 70,000 people vanish instantly, turned to shadows, burned into concrete walls. By 9 a.m., Tokyo's High Command receives the first fragmentary reports. Something impossible just happened. One bomb, one city, gone. But here's what nobody expected. The generals didn't believe it at first. They thought it was an exaggeration, a mistake in the reports. What they discovered next would shake them more than the blast itself. The emergency meeting. Within hours, Japanese High Command calls an emergency session. The room fills with generals, admirals, and ministers. Maps spread across tables. Cigarette smoke fills the air. Everyone's shouting over each other. General Yoshijiro Umezu slams reconnaissance photos on the table. Where Hiroshima once stood, there's nothing. Just smoke, ash, devastation that stretches for miles. Not even their worst firebombing raids caused this level of destruction. But here's the strange part. The generals don't panic. They start calculating, analyzing, treating this like any other weapon problem. Admiral Soemu Toyoda speaks up. One bomb cannot defeat an empire. They'd been at war for years. Tokyo had been firebombed, 67 other cities hit. They'd survived everything America threw at them. Why would this be different? General Korekichi Anami, the war minister, stands. His face is stone. He's the hardliner, the man who never wants to surrender. What he says next reveals the military's terrifying logic. The calculation of death. Anami's words are cold, precise. We must determine if America possesses more of these weapons. That's it. That's the response to 70,000 dead. Not grief, not horror, just mathematics. See, the Japanese military had a plan called Ketsugo, the final defense. They were prepared to sacrifice millions of civilians to defend the homeland. Every man, woman, and child would fight with bamboo spears if necessary. One city destroyed didn't change that equation. But dozens of these bombs, that was different math. Intelligence officers scrambled to answer Anami's question. How many atomic bombs does America have? Can they make more? How fast? Nobody knows. The Americans had dropped leaflets warning about a new and terrible weapon. High Command dismissed it as propaganda, just more American psychological warfare. They'd ignored countless warnings before. Now those warnings looked different. But the generals still refused to surrender, and their reason why reveals something dark about military thinking. The Honor Code. Japanese military culture runs on Bushido, the warrior code. Surrender means shame. Shame worse than death. For these generals, losing the war is acceptable. Getting defeated in battle is acceptable. But giving up, quitting, that's unthinkable. It would disgrace their ancestors, their emperor, their entire nation. So they keep fighting. Even after Hiroshima, they convince themselves it's manageable. America only has one bomb, maybe two. They can endure. They can adapt. Prime Minister Suzuki wants peace talks. Emperor Hirohito is worried. But the military ministers control everything. And they say no. Here's what's chilling. Intercepted communications show American commanders are waiting. They have a second bomb ready. They're just waiting to see if Hiroshima works. August 7th passes. Silence from Tokyo. August 8th passes. Still no surrender. America interprets this as defiance, as proof that one bomb isn't enough. So they prepared the second weapon. But nobody in Tokyo realizes what's coming until it's too late.
Nagasaki, August 9th, 1945. 3 days after Hiroshima. Another B-29 takes off. This bomb is different, more powerful. Its nickname, Fat Man. The original target is Kokura, but clouds cover the city. The bomber circles, waits, running low on fuel. They pick the secondary target instead, Nagasaki. 11:02 a.m., the second atomic bomb detonates. 40,000 more people die instantly. Tokyo gets the news by afternoon. Now there's no denying it. America has multiple bombs. They can keep doing this, city after city after city. The emergency meeting reconvenes. The room is different now, quieter. The generals understand what they're facing. But even now, even with 2 cities gone, the hardliners won't budge. Anami still argues for continuing the war. We can negotiate better terms if we fight longer. The military is deadlocked, split down the middle. That's when someone does something that hasn't happened in over 1,000 years of Japanese history. The emperor speaks. Emperor Hirohito breaks protocol. Japanese emperors never intervene directly in government decisions. They're divine figures, above politics. They observe, they approve, but they don't decide. Not this time. Hirohito calls an imperial conference. He listens to both sides argue. The hardliners want to keep fighting. The peace faction begs for surrender. At 2 a.m. on August 10th, Hirohito speaks. His voice is soft, measured, but his words cut through everything. I cannot bear to see my innocent people suffer any longer. This is unprecedented, shocking. The emperor just overruled his military, just chose surrender. But here's the twist. Even after the emperor speaks, some generals still refuse. War Minister Anami leaves the meeting in tears, not because Japan lost, but because they're surrendering before fighting to the last person. Some young officers plot a coup to prevent the surrender broadcast. What General Anami does next would define his legacy and reveal the impossible position these men were in. The final words. August 14th, Japan agrees to surrender. American planes drop leaflets explaining the terms. Radio broadcasts prepare the nation. For most Japanese citizens, this is the first time they're hearing they've lost the war. General Anami faces an impossible choice. He led the faction that wanted to keep fighting. His honor code says he should resist. But the emperor has spoken. Disobeying the emperor is unthinkable too. He writes a final statement. Believing firmly that our sacred land shall never perish, I, with my death, humbly apologize to the emperor for the great crime. Then he commits seppuku, ritual suicide. It takes him 14 hours to die. He refuses help, refuses to end it quickly. Other officers follow. Some crash planes into the ocean. Others shoot themselves. They choose death over surrendering. But what the generals said in those final meetings reveals something even more disturbing about what they truly feared. The real fear. Here's what historians discovered decades later in declassified documents. The generals weren't just afraid of the atomic bomb. They were afraid of what it represented. A future where wars don't need soldiers. For thousands of years, military power meant brave men fighting. Courage mattered. Honor mattered. A warrior could face death with dignity. The atomic bomb erased all that. One plane, one pilot, one button. Entire cities gone. No battle, no chance to fight back, no honor in the death. General Kawabe wrote in his journal, "This weapon makes warriors obsolete." That's what terrified them. Not death itself, they'd accepted death, but meaningless death. Death where courage doesn't matter, where honor doesn't matter, where thousands die without ever seeing their enemy. The atomic age had arrived, and it meant everything these military men believed in, everything they dedicated their lives to, was now outdated. Warfare would never be the same again.
When Japanese High Command witnessed America's secret weapon on August 6, 1945, everything changed. The atomic bomb, the U.S. secret weapon WW2, had been developing in absolute secrecy, obliterated Hiroshima in seconds. Japanese reaction to atomic bomb reports was initially disbelief. This secret weapon that changed WW2 wasn't conventional warfare. Japanese military witnesses U.S. weapons' devastating power through reconnaissance photos showing complete annihilation. Unlike Pearl Harbor, where Japanese military and American technology clashed conventionally, this was different. America's secret weapon represented a new era. Japanese High Command WW2 reactions revealed something chilling. They feared not just the bomb itself, but what American weapon that shocked Japan truly meant the end of traditional warfare forever.